Guys, in this workshop I want to talk about tags. I want to extend on tags because tags can be used to actually tell you what students are doing on your site. Now, as well as adding tags, we can also remove tags as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically show you a little course that's got a tag already built into it. So I'm going to go into this intermediate guide to Zenler. I'm going to go into automations, and you're going to see down here that on enroll I have nothing. I'm not sending any emails out. I'm just tagging them. So they're not going to receive an email. They're just going to be tagged in the system with a tag that I've set up. So again, you know, if you want to, you can send emails out to them. You can time those emails to go out and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all cool. But this in here is simple action, and it's just to add a tag. Now, you're also going to notice that in here we've also got the ability to remove a tag as well. So if someone came into your course and you had email automation set up, say they entered the course and when they leave the course you wanted to remove a tag, then on that last section when they finish the course, you could actually say to you could actually tell the system to remove that tag. So you might do that because you might remove that tag and add a new tag to say, well, now's the time to email them because they need to take part 2. That kind of thing. You know, you've got to work, because there's so many different ways that you could work with tags. It's really up to you to be creative with what you're doing. We can show you what the system can do. You've got to make it work with your actual thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a user in. Now, if a user buys this course, they're going to be tagged with this. And also, if we import or add a user, they're going to be tagged with this if we add them to this course. Remember, this automation will actually run when someone gets enrolled in the course. This means enrolled by either buying the course, by either you adding them as a student, or by you importing a list of users and adding them to the course. They're still being, the system doesn't know if it's paid for them or not. It just knows they're in the course, and then it activates the automation inside this course. Now, I'm talking about a course, but the same principle will apply for live webinars or live classes, anything that's got automations in it. Lead magnets, video series, funnels, all our funnels, they're all, you can set up automation for all of those as well. So any place that you can use automation, this same principle applies. Okay, I'm not going to show you how you do it in webinars, how you do it in funnels. There's absolutely no point, because automations is automations. By showing you it in here, it's the same method can be applied to anywhere else that you can put automations into your Zenler site. Okay, so let's jump straight away now. We've got that sorted out, and go straight to all the people. Now, I've got no one in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a user. So let's go and add a user inside here. Okay guys, so now I've added this user. You're going to notice that I haven't put any tags in here now, because I'm adding a user. I could add a tag in here if I wanted to. This is a manual process, adding a tag, adding a user. But down here you're going to see I have a course. Now, if I select that course intermediate with that tag in, it's going to apply a tag to this user. If I don't do anything, I'm not going to have any tags at all, because I'm just importing them as a user. But because I want them to have this tag and I want to enroll them in the course, I'm going to select this. Now, if you wanted to, you could have an automated funnel up that actually triggers adding a tag. So when you import them in or add them, you could add them to that funnel. So I'm going to show you that funnel in a minute and show you, and the principle applies. So remember that you could add them to a funnel. Now, this particular funnel I've got here doesn't take them to any pages or anything. All it does is runs an automation. That's all it does. It just runs an automation sequence. So you could send emails out, but you don't need to set up any pages or anything. We're just using it for the automation aspect of the funnel. So first thing to do is to add them to this course to show you how the tag works. So I'm going to go in here, intermediate guide, and an intermediate guide in there for the payment for the plan. And I'm just going to click add. Now, what you might notice is it won't come up in here. And this does not mean that it hasn't added it. This is a little bug that hopefully we're going to fix at some point. And if I've noticed that if I kind of refresh the page, or I do something like I log out and log back in, then that tag will appear there. So I'm just going to kind of log back in here, and I'm hoping it will pop up when I next get into the system. So we should have this sorted at some point. So, but it has added it. So I'm going to go back into my site now, and I'm going to go to all people, and then magically that tag will have been added. I think maybe there's some sort of delay on it or something. So I'm going to go back into here and hit this again, refresh. So there we go. You can see that the tag is actually in there. So what else can we do? We could actually import users and then export them. So I'm going to add a new user now, and we'll just add a new one quickly. Okay, and this particular user, I'm not even going to not going to set up anything for them. I just put them in as a test student there, and I'm just going to click add. So what will happen now is they've come in as with no tags. Now say you want to enroll them in a course, and you can do that easily from here. So what I can do is I can just take this user here, and I can just do an export out here. So I'm going to export. He's coming as 3 here, CSV 3, because I've done a few tests. So I've exported him out as a user. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to import him back in. So I'm going to choose the file, and that will be in my downloads, and there we can see 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him in as that user. So I'm going to go and open, and I'm going to choose the type as student. I'm going to click next, and then I'm going to just skip that one, and I'm going to go, let's enroll him straight into intermediate and that guide. So that tag will now be added here, yeah, where he hasn't got a tag at the moment. So I've added that one in there, and I'm going to click finish now. So I'm going to click OK, and then now if I refresh this, we've got him tagged. So I exported out and I brought him back in by putting that tag. Now what about removing tags? Because there's going to be times where you want to remove a tag. So you could use, like I said, you could use a course. I'm going to use a funnel to do this. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do in a funnel. Remember the name of our tag. Let me go back again. I find it's a good idea to copy the tag. Control C to copy, and then go into this funnel. Now this funnel is purely for just playing around and taking tags away or adding tags. So you're going to see that actually under the funnel steps I haven't really got any. I've got this one. In fact, I could even delete this one out. It doesn't matter. Yep, so I've got no steps in there. I've got no funnel. I'm not leading them through a funnel or a lead magnet, you know, different pages, to giving them freebies and those sort of things. I'm not using it for that. I'm using it purely for the automation. So if we go in the automation now, I'm going to come into the automation, and where you've got remove tag, I'm going to go into this. Let me just come in there. I'm going to delete the untitled one I've got here. So I'm only left with remove tag. So I've got this remove tag in here, and I'm going to paste this one in here like that, and I'm going to save it. Going to click no to that. And so now what's going to happen is if I export my users out and I bring them back in, I can bring them back in and bring them into this funnel that will automate the process of removing that tag. So notice up there I can remove a tag, I can add a tag. All right, so I've set this up now. So I'm going to jump back to our students, and I'm going to jump into all of these again, and I'm just going to export them out. So let's go and export them out. By the way, you can just choose students from here as well if you wanted to, instead of all. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to now export all these out. So I'm going to click export. It's going to go in as 4 here, CSV 4, and now I'm going to import them back in. I'm going to choose that file. So there he is, number 4. I'm going to click open, and I'm going to go make sure that you choose the import as student, and we're going to click next. And I don't need to touch these fields, they're all okay, they all tie up with each other. And I'm going to click next again, and this time I'm going to put them into the funnel. Remember, this funnel is purely to remove that tag. I'm not going to send a notification, I'm just going to remove that tag. So now when I hit finish, it will remove that tag that we've got, enter intermediate. So I'm going to click finish now, click OK, and now it will have removed that enter intermediate. There we go. Yeah, not from me because I'm an admin in here, but it's removed them from the students, which is the control that I wanted. Okay, so that's how it can kind of work. You could add a tag, remove a tag, you could go in there and you could filter a tag. So that's the next thing to look at. What if I've got a user that's got two tags, test 1 and test 2, okay? And that user's got two tags, and then the other user has got one tag, like test 1. So can I use automations to actually just target the user that's got test 2 or test 1? You can use advanced filters to filter out those people, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay guys, so now I've got my two users. One has got test 1 and one's got test 2. So if I want to target just test 1 or just test 2, and I want to maybe remove test 1 from test 2. So say they've gone through the process and they're going to be, you know, they're on stage 2, and I don't want it to mark as test 1 to send an email out to them. We can easily do that. I'm going to go back into my marketing funnel and show you how we can do that. So I'm going to use the same trigger here. I'm going to go into this and I'm going to go into automations. And what we're going to do is we're actually just going to target this particular tag to remove that test 1. So I'm going to go into edit here and we're going to remove a tag and we're going to remove test 1. Now remember guys, if I just did this test 1, it would remove it from the guy that's already got test 1 applied to it. Let me just demonstrate this. Let me just go back to this to make it crystal clear, because it can get a little bit confusing for you guys sometimes. So yeah, if I just did a remove tag, it's going to remove it from him, but I don't want to remove it from this student because they're still on test 1 phase or stage 1, or you might want to call it course 1. You know, they're on the beginner's course and you don't want to remove them from it. But this guy's moved on and he's taken your number 2 course, your test 2 course, so you can remove it, safely remove him from test 1 knowing that he's already completed it. So again, we can use filters to do this. So the first thing we've done is said remove a filter test 1, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a filter group to filter it. So we're going to come in here and we're going to add a filter. Okay, so I'm only going to remove test 1 if test 2 is there as a tag. Okay, so we're going to go, obviously you've got all these things you can do. If it was a course, you could say enrolled in a course, remove a tag, you know, if you wanted to, but we're purely working with tags here. So we're going to say use a tag contains or not contain. So we want to take it away from the one that contains another tag. So user contains, and we're going to go test 2. So it will remove test 1 only if the user has a tag that contains test 2. So let's click save. So we've now set up this new funnel and we've used these advanced filters down the bottom. Okay, so it's as it says there, this action is executed only if the following conditions are satisfied. Okay, so let's go back to our users again, back to here, and now we've got this all set up. Make sure it's all saved and everything. We're going to now export out and import in, and it will remove the test 1 from this because it's already got a test 2 in there. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to export this. This is going to be export 6 here, and I'm going to import it in. So I'm going to import it in and I'm going to add it to the funnel. So first of all, make sure you choose student in there if it is a student. I'm going to choose 6 in here, click open. I'm going to move on to the next step. We don't need to touch this. Next step, and we're going to go funnel, put them into this sign up trigger. Again, if you want to send notifications to the user, you can in there, but we don't want to with an email, password, link and those sort of things. So we just purely put them in this sign up trigger funnel that we've created, and I'm going to click finish and I'm going to click OK. And what should happen now is our testing test student should only have the test 2 tag. So I'm going to hit the refresh button here. We go. So we have that tag removed. So that's using filters. You can filter through things to actually make them work. So you can see how we can do all these things. Now we can tag people in also just by actually selecting them in here, exporting them out and bringing them in. So like I said, this can work for funnels or courses. So if you've got multiple courses running in, you might also want to think about, like, if doing sort of, if you had 3 courses and you never wanted to show the tag, you might want to put into the automations on the funnel, if they enter the second course, then remove tag for the first course. So again, under the automations, if they were going into intermediate here, they would have this tag applied. So on roll, add a tag. So that would be the enroll, yeah. And then if they moved on to another course, you could say remove it. So if we went to maybe advanced stage 2 and we went into automations here, you could go into here and add another action that actually remove that tag. So I could come in here and I could go remove tag this time, and after when they enroll for this, I could then remove that tag there, and I could save that, and that way when they enter into this course, it would remove the tag from the first course. So you see how you can remove, you can add, modify these things in there. All makes it possible using automations. We're still working on automations as well, making it even better and faster the way that it actually works and reacts. But automations are very powerful, and also this advanced filter is very, very powerful as well, because you can say inside here, let me just turn that on. You could say inside here you've got other actions, so it'll only apply based on the conditions of this. So if you can match it to all or none of the following, and you can apply actions in there by adding these in filters. So you could say, for instance, if they were enrolled in that first course, and you can select the course, so intermediate guide for thing. So if they're enrolled in this course and this course here, you could then say, let me just save that, edit the filters. We could then say add a tag in there. So tag, user tag contains, and you can filter them out that way. So you could say if they're in that course and their user tag contains whatever it is, test 1, then apply this based on multiple statements are executed if these filters are satisfied. So it can get quite complicated, guys, so try and keep it really simple. Look at what you're trying to achieve and make sure it's working for you. Make sure it's, I tend to pencil it out, it's a lot easier. If you actually write it all down, what you want, using little arrows and stuff to say, right, someone comes in that end and then they go and take that course, then I don't want to email them, so I need to make sure to remove the tag from there, so write it there, and when they move there I want to remove the tag from there, or I want to send them into a funnel. If you've got it all drawn out on a piece of paper, it makes it easier for you to work through these automations. And once you've been doing it for a while, it won't be a problem, but initially it can get a little bit confusing, and I try and keep your tags very simple and maybe descriptive as well, so you know exactly how they apply, because when you start looking and having hundreds of users in here, then it can be really hard. Yeah, so you can filter based on these tags. So if I was to go into here and add a filter, I could say have they got a tag in here, so you can go and filter them out this way, or are they in a course, or tag, user tag contains, and then I put test 1. That should get rid of these two and just leave me with this one. So, and if I apply that filter, sorry, let me do that again, test 1, and then I apply that filter, you're only going to see 1. So this allows you to filter things out really quickly in here. So if I was to put in here test 2 as well and apply the filter, I would get each of those come up because they're the ones in there, and of course I could delete that out and apply a filter and get only ones with tag test 2. Alright, So also you might want to use this for segregating, putting them into email lists and things like that. So this is all about tags. It's just an extension of what we're doing. There's a ton of different things that you can do using tags. So like I said, keep it simple. Build on it as your confidence gets better with using tags. Keep it simple at first and then start looking at more complex methods such as removing tags, adding tags and all these sort of things. And remember, you can always export and import users and add tags that way. You can add the user that way. Of course, if they enroll and you've got the tag set up in the course, when they enroll, that tag will be applied to them. You could then export them out, bring them back in, put them into a funnel, remove a tag, or you could actually, in the next course that comes along, you could automatically say remove a tag if they've enrolled in this course. So you can see how there could be a million and one different ways of doing these things. But hopefully that's helped you guys. I know the questions come up on the Facebook group quite a lot. It's not one of those things that you could just write down in a post because as you can see, it can get quite complex the more you get into it. Okay guys, so hopefully that's helped you, and yep, I'll see you in the next tutorial.